Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
Yo, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening? Ladies and gents, welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. On today's conversation, let me tell you something, y'all. Democrats. If you are a Democrat, you are probably in PO mode as we speak. As you know, we had a record long government shutdown that lasted for a little over about 41 days. And that shutdown currently, in real time, is currently being put to an end. I guess temporary until January, but it's put to an end. Why is it put to an end? Because guess what? You had 8 of yours truly, 8 of them cave. And this is why I always say time and time again, look, you have one party that lacks empathy, and then you have another party that lacks a backbone. And this is a prime example. For how long did the left have really the power was in their hands with the shutdown? Am I wrong for saying that? It was in the palm of their hands. They were fighting for an issue that they said, look, we are going to keep on fighting. Yes, we see that folks are suffering and but they knew in order to get a win, what they were trying to do was like, hey, look, we see it's hurting, but at the end of the day, we got to get this healthcare premium issue taken care of, right? Something that can affect that is affecting most folks. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about those 8 Democrats, Senate Democrats, who have been asked by a lot of people, even people in their own party, that they got to go. And we're going to talk about it. Also, former Vice President and former presidential candidate Kamala Harris is calling out her own party. You curious of what she's calling them for? We'll talk about it later on the show. In addition to that, Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York City, former right-hand man of Donald Trump, who has been really a fall from grace since he's aligned himself with the current sitting president. He has recently received a pardon, so hey, he needed a win on his side, so he received that pardon, and we'll talk about that later on, and so much more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. As always, my friends, thank you so much for taking 1 hour of your time to tune into yet another great episode here on this wonderful evening. For those who are watching us right now on YouTube, do me a favor, like, subscribe, share with a friend, share with family. I truly appreciate it. We want to continue to increase those subscribers and viewerships, and we are growing each and every day. We have some big guests lined up for you that I can't wait to share with you all. We're continuing to, as I mentioned, grow the platform. We are a grassroots show, so we are just honored to see growth happening, and we couldn't do it without you all, the people, the listeners, those who tune into the show. I just want to, as always, personally thank you. This is actually for those who have been supporting us since day one. This is episode 461. So, I originally started this program streaming based, and then we're fortunate to have our program picked up from different in other platforms and markets. For example, I mentioned, okay, you can watch us on YouTube, but in addition to that, you can also watch past episodes of the Arrington Gavin Show on Goatverse TV. That's right, Goatverse TV. Ways you can tune into to that is simply by downloading the app. Download the app, available on the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV. Again, that is Goatverse TV. Goatverse TV. You can yeah, download the app. It's free. It's an awesome app. It's filled with so many amazing programs like yours truly. In addition to that, you can also listen to us on the go. We're available on all major podcast platforms. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show, whether that's Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, iHeart. We are available on all major podcast platforms. So there's no excuse. No excuse. And then lastly, you can also listen to us on the radio airwaves. Shout out to our friends in the New Orleans area by way of WBOK 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time, only on, again, WBOK 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. Then we're going to move it on to the Houston, Texas area. You can tune to the Arrington Gavin Show Saturdays at 12 p.m. Central Time. And that's on Afro Vibes Radio. That's right, Afro Vibes Radio. So be sure to tune in. And then lastly, we're going to head over to the Metro Atlanta area to WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. You can tune to the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, that's only on WDJY 99.1 FM. All right. Before we head to a commercial break, we love to always start it off with our segment, and that segment is, what is this role and why is it important? All right. And this segment, as I explained many times, but I always love to, for those who are new to listening to the show, this segment is simply just informing and explaining the political positions that exist in our world. We started off on a local level, and then we've moved up to a state level, which we're about to finish the last position on a state government level, and then we're going to head over to the federal level. But right now we're in the executive branch portion of the state government, because as you know, we have an executive branch, we have a legislative branch, as well as a judicial branch. So that exists in all different forms of government. Now, on the state government side, the last position I will be explaining is the governor's role. That's right, the governor roles, which is head of the state's executive branch, signs or vetoes state laws, manages the state budget, and commands the state's national guard. So they are like the state's president. If to make it kind of in layman's terms, they're like the state's president. Every state has a leader or head public servant. I want to say leader because we don't have leaders here in no kings. You know what I mean? We don't have any leaders in office, but we have political leaders, those who are the ones that are speaking on the constituents' behalf, and so on and so on. We elect an elected official. They're supposed to get the job done and continue to make us happy. But as of right now, they're not really making us happy. They're not really making us happy, and that's going on all sides of the aisle. I don't see any party right now making the world a better place. I mean, I'm sorry to break it to you. You have a select few people that truly mean well, and they're trying to do their part. But I mean, it is a lot, y'all. It's a lot. But all we can do is just keep it in prayer. As I say all the time, there's a power in prayer, and we have got to make sure we do our part and never give up when it comes to keeping these elected officials feet to the fire. You know what I mean? As I mentioned, after the off season elections that we recently had on November 4th, we cannot ease off the gas. And I said this, even though, and I said this to to friends of mine that served, that won a race. I'm like saying, hey, look, you my friend, I respect you, but at the end of the day, if I gotta stick my foot up, you know what, if you're not doing what you promised to the community, guess what? I ain't got to vote for you next time, bro or ma'am. We have men and women. So I'm like, no, we cannot as a people think that it's okay to all of a sudden hear from our elected officials during election season. That's not okay. It's not okay for elected officials to care to what benefits them personally and not their constituents, because that's what we're going to tie into later on about this whole end of the government shutdown, because it's a lot of bits and pieces that I want to want to tie in. I'm actually going to be having on experts, not on this episode, but I'm going to be having some of my friends in the political space that can, somewhat explain it better so you can get it from a true expert. Because as you know, look, I'm a person who I'm community driven, I'm honest, I'm opinionated. I'm here to help bridge the gap and get you guys interested in wanting to learn more about, government, local, state, federal. We cannot lack the knowledge. We cannot avoid understanding this this stuff, because there's so many folks out there that it's it's funny. I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a former councilman, and he was saying, man, he hasn't served in office for, I would say, almost 9 months, maybe a little more than that. He's been out of office for about that long. Folks still think he's still a councilman, and I'm like, wow, he's been out of office for about close to 10 months, and people are still thinking he's a councilman. That is scary. That is scary. But look here, folks, we are going to take a commercial break. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back with more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Don't change that dial.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to.
And we still in traffic.
Don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
Yeah, that's that new Goat Verse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
Order your beard care products with Rugged Evolution. We're your local beard care line that supports the maintenance of your full, mature beard. Our line includes conditioning shampoos, moisturizers, balms, oils, shaving lotions, and exfoliating soaps. These products moisturize, hydrate, nourish, and have all the natural ingredients for a healthy beard. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
Let me tell you something most people get wrong about suits. A suit isn't just about you wearing it. It's how you show the world who you are. It's your handshake before you say a word, your presence when you step into any room. That's why we design statements at Dapper Luke. We don't just make suits. We'll start with the fabrics that tell your story, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends sourced from the finest mills in Italy, the UK, and India. Then we'll combine that with your vision, your personality, and your style. Every detail is tailored to you, from the fit to the finish. Whether for your wedding, a gala, the boardroom, we specialize in creating custom suits that are unique, just like the men who wear them. We spent years perfecting this craft, apprenticing under designers in New York and showcasing collections in New York and for Baltimore Fashion Week. None of that matters as much as seeing the look on your face when you try on your custom suit. Over 900 clients have already trusted us to deliver the best custom suits. They trust me to deliver the confidence. We proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore and would be honored to bring your vision to life next. Let's create something unforgettable. Book your free consultation today at www.dapperluke.com.
All right, my friends. Look, I want to play this. Let me see if I can find it here. Hold tight as I share this soundbite with you.
Tonight, 8 Democrats voted with the Republicans to allow them to go forward on this continuing resolution. And to my mind, this was a very, very bad vote. What it does, first of all, is it raises healthcare premiums for over 20 million Americans by doubling, and in some cases tripling or quadrupling. People can't afford that when we are already paying the highest prices in the world for healthcare. Number two, it paves the way for 15 million people to be thrown off of Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. Studies show that will mean that some 50,000 Americans will die every year unnecessarily. And all of that was done to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1%. As everybody knows, just on Tuesday, we had an election all over this country. And what the election showed is that the American people want us to stand up to Trumpism, to his war against working class people, to his authoritarianism. That is what the American people wanted, but tonight, that is not what happened. So we've got to go forward, do the best that we can to try to protect working class people, to make sure that the United States not only does not throw people off of health care, but ends the absurdity of being the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee health care to all people. We got a lot of work to do. But to be honest with you, tonight was not a good night. Thank you.
So that right there, my friends, was Senator Independent out of Vermont, Bernie Sanders. I think, he has a pretty recognizable voice. There is no hiding that. What Bernie Sanders had stated was that what he recently witnessed was it was a disaster. It was that. Let me go ahead and put on the screen here the folks that he was speaking about, and I think you all who've been in tune in the news. There were 8 Democrats that sided with the GOP in ending this shutdown. So this shutdown was about 40 days, maybe 41 days, something like that. And what this was a shutdown in order to work out a deal on healthcare. Something that is needed. You hear me? So let me kind of while I have these, and by the way, the folks that I have up, because those who are listening, you're probably saying, well, who are the 8 Democrats? I'm gonna name them right now. Senator Maggie Hassan, Democrat out of New Hampshire, Senator Dick Durbin out of Illinois, Angus King out of Maine, Senator John Fetterman out of Pennsylvania, Senator Jackie Rosen out of Nevada, Catherine Cortez Masto out of Nevada, as well as Janine Shaheen out of New Hampshire. Lastly, Senator Tim Kaine, who I've met personally. I've shared a picture with this man. I have that. He's one of them. He serves as my as my U.S. senator, along with Senator Mark Warner. Now, Mark Warner did not, and here's the interesting thing. There's a split between the two because you have a senior senator and you have a junior senator. Mark Warner and Tim are not on good terms and agreements with this. So again, Democrats spent 40 days telling the country this shutdown was about a healthcare crisis, warning that if ACA tax credits expired, premiums would double, but not even double, y'all. It would triple. Millions could lose coverage. Okay. And 15 million people are on a path of being pushed off of Medicaid and the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. So now you have a group of these moderates, which, look, I'm not against moderate Democrats. Again, I'm a centrist myself. I really could care less of both sides. Do I lean left at some points in this current state because I see the Republicans not being any form of a party that I'm thinking about joining. But they walk into a room with Trump GOPs and came out with what they promised. Not a damn thing. Not an extension for subsidies, no protection locked into law, a future vote in December that everyone knows Republicans will, kill or end, however you want me. They would not do anything for it. So let me show you. Let me explain this math here. The average monthly SNAP benefit is about $177 per person. The average Affordable Care Act subsidy can be around $550 per person per month, by the way, per month. Because of this vote, over 20 million Americans are expected to see at least a doubling of their premiums, and we're on a pathway, again, 15 million being thrown off of Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. So let me I don't need to really explain the cause of why this occurred. But here's the thing, Republicans who control the House and control the Senate, so they control both chambers, push for a clean CR, essentially funding the government without major policy riders. Now, Democrats insisted that any funding deal include major health care provisions, especially the extension of an enhanced premium tax credits under the Affordable Care Act and protection of Medicaid from cuts. They argued that letting those expire or be cut would harm millions, as it is. So now, some analysts argue that the Democrats, the shutdown wasn't just about immediate policy, right? But also signaling strength to their base, particularly in the light of criticism that the party is weak against Donald Trump and the Republicans. Now, my thing is, the Dems had a huge win on November 4th, right? Big win in Virginia, big win in New Jersey, big win in New York City, which we've noticed that that's a split between the moderates and progressives in New York City. Now, when this shutdown went down, and this lasted for about 41 days, and it caused furloughs, delays in service, uncertainty for millions. Polling shows many Americans blame Republicans more than Democrats, though a significant portion blames both, which I look at it as both as well too, because at the end of the day, who's in office? Now, I say both, but to the point I would say more on the right, because who has the majority? Who has the majority? Republicans. Republicans, right? Okay, that's what I thought. I mean, hell, you heard it from Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's like, the Democrats are not the ones to blame. Mike Johnson and the ultra masculine MAGAs in there. You know, it's a contest between, you know, who is the more dominant amongst the men in MAGA. That Marjorie Taylor Greene's been going on these interview tours with The View, CNN. I don't think she was on MSNBC, if I'm not mistaken, but she was on. No, she wasn't. She was on News Nation, CNN, and Fox. She's been going over it. She's been going over it. The View, so ABC, and so after these 8 Democrats, which, I mean, look, I'm going to let you hear some comments from some of the elected officials and even some commentators. These 8 elected officials, which really, let's be honest, what the hell does Fetterman even like? What I'm trying to figure out. Does he even want to benefit the majority of Democrats, right? And he's probably gonna say, well, I want to benefit all American people. Okay, you benefit all American people, but the majority is saying that if you side with this, you're gonna be hurting Americans. What are you seeing here that's beneficial? The fact that you ended a shutdown. And see, like, I see 50-50 because I have close friends and family that works in the government. So I'm happy that they get to start getting paid again. I think everybody can agree on that. But in the long run, healthcare, if you don't have healthcare, if you can't afford healthcare, that's a first class ticket to being homeless. Why do I know this? Because I work in the community. I've spoken with experts, those who work in outreach programs, and they bring up stories like that. And it's like, to me, I never think of that, because the number one thing folks can always assume when you go homeless is, oh, you've lost your job, or you hit rock bottom, or addiction. That's some of the primary, but you don't think about healthcare. You don't think about losing your healthcare. So now you got the Democratic Party. I mean, they are just like, I don't believe this mess, man. I don't believe this. And I think we have one a comment from Ro Khanna, congressman out of California. Let me see if I can pull up that soundbite for you. And I have a few other folks on the left that is high, even some folks on the right. But let me go ahead and find that clip of Ro Khanna, of the message he sent. Here we go.
News. Chuck Schumer needs to be replaced as minority leader for caving to Donald Trump. Look, I may be the first and only member of Congress to say this, but someone needs to start speaking the truth. If you're not willing to fight to stop premium hikes on 20 million Americans, then what are you willing to fight for? The Democratic Party needs to be strong. We need to stand up for the health care of ordinary Americans. The donors and the establishment won't like me speaking out, but I'm confident that you will have my back. Breaking news: Chuck Schumer.
That's another thing too. That's another thing he brought to my attention. These elected officials, I believe 2 of them are retiring. Okay, 2 of them are retiring. And all of them are not seeking seeking re-election coming up. I mean, Tim Kaine's re-election is not until 2030. All of them, I believe, are like that. Let me actually look at the list. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. This is not what I want. Okay, so yes, Shaheen is retiring. Durbin is retiring. But yeah, everyone else here they're not seeking a re-election. So see, their asses are safe. They're safe. They don't have anything to lose. Those that are retiring, they got their paycheck ready for them. And you know what I'm talking about. So it's not like you can see they're doing this. And this is how politics works, y'all. Because you either see folks that do things, it's all about strategy, right? For example, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I wouldn't be surprised she thinks about running for president, even though she's saying she has no need, or she's not pursuing higher office right now. All she cares about is her constituents. Bull. I think she is most likely planning on running for president. Seriously, I think she's running for president. Same goes for Gavin Newsom out of California. All these torches going from Texas. This and that. What are you doing that for? What are you doing that for? He running for president. Okay. These folks that could care less of the chaos that they just started for the people, the just the horror and the sadness, and just they are livid. They can care less. Like I said, Tim Kaine, 2030 is when he's up for re-election. Hassan, 2028. Fetterman, 2028. King, Angus King, Rosen, 2030. Everybody, they chilling. Sure, I got me some time. I can chillax. You can say whatever you want. I'm still be in office. I'm still be in power. Okay. And that is the world we live in, y'all. That is the world we live in. Let me go ahead and so we've heard from Congressman Ro Khanna. Let's see here. Here is Sunny Hostin, co-host of The View, who is quite progressive, and she's always, a supporter of she speaks always against the right. Here's what she had to say about this whole government shutdown, or this whole caving of the 8 Democrats.
Let's be clear. The Republicans run the House. The Republicans run the Senate. The Republicans run the White House. The Republicans run the Supreme Court, as far as I'm concerned. This was a choice by Republicans to cut SNAP benefits. This was a choice by Republicans to cut ACA subsidies. This was a choice by the Republicans to gut the federal government and federal employment. Democrats had nothing to do with it. I want an opposition party. I think the Democrats caved. I think the Democrats let down the American people. And like you, Whoopi, I have absolutely no faith that the Republican Party will come to the negotiating table in good faith. You know, you do something like this, shame on you the first time. You do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, shame on me. Shame on the Democrats for even believing that the Republicans will, even vote on it. There's no guarantee in this New Deal that there's going to be a vote. There's no even commitment to have a vote. So the bottom line is the Democrats went into this after a blue wave out of the American people saying, we do want the opposition. We the working people want the Democratic Party to fight for them. And now they just caved and surrendered. I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over. If he cannot keep his caucus together, he needs to go. He needs to be replaced. Let's be clear.
Here's my frustration. Sonny, we've all been saying that for years. For years. Independents like myself, progressive people have shared time and time again. You can't trust these. You can't, because it's a back and forth. Schumer's had too many times where he's caved, in my opinion. Too many times. Like, why all of a sudden, now she's asking for an opposition party? Well, I mean, it gets old. It gets old. Time and time again, we see independents. Shout out to Paul Ratcliffe. I think Ratcliffe. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his word, but check out his program, Independent Americans. He's an independent. He speaks with candidates that are running as independents, true independents. That is the way to go. Those that speak against both parties, because these two-party systems, it ain't working. Chris Cuomo said it time and time. The two-party system is gone. It don't work no more. It don't work no more. I mean, it's frustrating because you're starting to see folks that have been in the political game for years that are just now noticing. And I'm here, haven't been in the game for years at all, but you catch on to it quickly. I guess millennials, we catch on to stuff very quickly. I think that's what it is. We're visuals and all, and if we see something that's just it don't hit right. You know what I mean? It's like it's like taking a shot of bourbon. It just don't hit right once again. Your spirit. You know what I mean? I mean, golly. She's just now talking about an opposition party. Man, they've been saying that. They've been saying that. Okay, that was from one political commentator. That was Sunny Holston, who is a Democrat. She is a Democrat. She's always been a supporter of Democrat. Now I'm gonna get my girl S.E. Cupp, who is a political commentator with CNN. She's also a Republican, and she has always been speaking facts, in my opinion. So here's what she had to say.
Well, that was fast. The party's definitely over. Party's over. Okay, less than a week after Democrats had those historic wins in this off-year election cycle in California, New Jersey, Virginia, New York, they caved. Democrats caved. They caved. Looks like 8 Democratic senators were enough to get us to a vote to end this awful government shutdown. And while I think that's good news for most Americans, that this shutdown might be ending soon after more than 40 days, if I'm a Democratic voter, if I'm the base, I'm pissed. All this for what? All this pain for no gain. Democrats got nothing out of this. They didn't get Obamacare subsidies. They got nothing. So I can understand why Democrats are pissed, and you're going to see a lot of this kind of stuff, this kind of talk of primarying Democrats, ending Chuck Schumer's reign as Senate Minority Leader. It's even dividing Democratic political families. Okay, here are the Shaheens. It's ugly. It's ugly and it's bad, and Democrats are mad, and they need to be mad at someone, and they want to be mad at the 8 senators who voted to end the shutdown. They want to be mad at Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries for leading the party sort of into this quagmire and then out of it. The good news in all of this is the midterms are a year away, and Democrats have a lot of time to build an agenda and get great candidates to run for those congressional seats, to try to pick up seats. And American people are still very, very angry at Trump and Republicans. And the economy's bad. That's bad. That's good news for Democrats, bad news for Republicans. But kind of like everyone's a mess right now. Everyone's a mess. No one's sitting in a good position. If I'm a Democrat, I'm mad today. Democrats caved. I told you they'd lose. That's fine. We can all move on. But they lost. And I get it. I'd be pissed too.
So, my thing is, how many wins has the Democrats taken since? Because right now they're losing parties. State Democrats and local Democrats, that's a different story. They're looking pretty solid. Those in Congress and Senate, especially Senate at this point. So that was Essie Cup sharing her thoughts. Let's hear from some of the elected officials. So we've heard from Ro Khanna, congressman out of California. We've heard from Senator Bernie Sanders out of Vermont. But let's hear from. I want to hear from those who voted no. Let me see here. Let's see. Well, here's one from Mark Warner again. Virginia, U.S. Senator, senior senator out of my state. This is him sharing what he did, and then I'm gonna share Tim Kaine after that, and then I think I have some others I want to share with you. Hold tight.
Against the deal last night, and I want to tell you why. No one has been more hard hit by this crazy Trump shutdown than Virginians. I hear it day in and day out. Our federal workers, our contractors. I think about the folks who clean the bathrooms in many of our federal buildings. They're contractors. They're not even going to get back pay once the government reopens. And I was glad to see that there were protections in this deal to make sure there was no additional rifts and that workers would get that back pay that's guaranteed by law. And one of the worst things about this shutdown, beyond the federal workers, that Republicans were literally choosing to make it even more harmful. What was disgraceful was the Trump administration trying to stop food benefits going to 1 out of 8 Americans and taking that all the way to the Supreme Court. But even with all those considerations, I couldn't support this deal. We cannot walk away from our fight for health care. We cannot allow 24 million plus Americans to have this cliff hit them where they see their healthcare costs become totally unaffordable.
Okay, let me pause that. So he gave his he explained why he voted no. All right. Let's see here. This is Tim Kaine. Okay, this is Tim Kaine explaining why he changed his stance. Let's see here. Let me bring this up for you. Because you heard it from Tim Kaine. I mean, not Tim Kaine, Mark Warner. He shared his, reasons why he voted no. He then was kind of going on with the talking points. It's stuff we already knew about. But here's Tim Kaine's response.
Question is, I had a lot of Capitol Police officers look me in the eye when I was coming in tonight for the vote and say thanks. And, I've got some folks who didn't like the vote, but I'm going to have a whole lot of federal employees who are going back to work and they're getting their paychecks and they can live through the holidays without worrying that they're going to get a bad email at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning telling them they're laid off. They have been living under a cloud of anxiety since January 20, and we've lifted that cloud to some degree. The question is,
So he's kind of giving himself the cop-out answer, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. He's right. Federal workers are, government workers, they are They are back to getting paid. All that hard work that they were doing for Jack Squad for $0. Yes, they deserve their money. They deserve their money, especially heading into the holidays. But again, look at the long run, Senator. Look at the long run. Look at the long-term damage you're doing. We are under a Republican administration, Republican Supreme Court, majority Republican Supreme Court, Republican House, Republican Senate. It's most likely going to be like this possibly for the next 3 years. So yes, you got folks, good job for you. You got folks back to working. And I'm glad, as I mentioned, I have family that are government workers. I have close friends that are government workers. I have some friends that got laid off due to the shutdown. So I've seen it on all sides. Remember, I live in Virginia. Virginia is right next door to the Capitol. We are DMV. That's all in one hub. So we see it firsthand of the damage that it causes. But we also are noticing the damage that it can cause if someone loses their health care. We're seeing that. We're seeing that. Let me show you this from this popular political influencer as well as contributor host. Let me read you this take that she mentioned, and she in this clip she shares really how much this could affect, which I've kind of already shared this to you in verbiage, but I want to play you this here. Let's see. Let me see. Do I want to share that, or do I want to share? Don't want to share Chuck. Let me see how my time is looking. No, I'm gonna go ahead and share it. I'm not going to share it because this is really we're gonna be speaking on this throughout the show because I'm looking at my time and I'm gonna save the other ones for the next.
Democrats just voted to end the shutdown because apparently Republicans super pinky swear that they're going to negotiate on ACA prices. Also, none of them are up for re-election next year. 2 of them are retiring, and they have nothing to fear except for their cushy lobbying jobs and their stock portfolios once they are out of office. They respond to the airline industries who do not want to see more airlines and flights cut because of the FAA staff shortages. They don't care that the ACA subsidies are going up so long as they are accepting private insurance lobbying money. It benefits corporate Democrats to end this shutdown. I'm not saying federal workers are not in a tough place, but they were before the shutdown as well. Just when the momentum was starting to turn, just when people were blaming Republicans for the shutdown, just when behind closed doors, Donald Trump is freaking out at Republicans about the election not going their way because of the government shutdown, that's when Democrats will come in and be like, we want to fight, but not that hard. Look, I think shutdown strategies broadly are Hail Marys in and of themselves. But this is just pathetic. And I say that as someone who's going to see a $300 increase a month on my insurance alone. And yeah, fun times. So 8.
Okay. So you heard it right there. She explained it very well. Let me go ahead and hear what Chuck Schumer had to say, because he said he voted no. But again, you're in charge of this whole shindig, boss. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. Let's hear what good old Chuck out of New York had to say.
Months and months, Democrats have been fighting to get the Senate to address the health care crisis. This bill does nothing to ensure that crisis is addressed. I am voting no, and I will keep fighting. For months and months.
Quick little, to try and save his ass kind of thing, right? But at the end of the day, bro, you're in charge. You're in charge here. What are you? Obviously, you're not doing a good job. You're not doing a good job. Here's Senator Janine Shaheen, who defended selling out your health care for Hills of Beans. Hold on, let me play this for you. Hold on. Oh, because there's multiple. And then lastly, before we take a quick break, I'm gonna share a message that Dean Dean Abu, I can't even pronounce his name. Let's share what the senator had to say out of New Hampshire.
You say you're fighting on the Affordable Care Act, but what do you say to your colleagues who say this isn't a fight, this is a capitulation? You're agreeing to a vote on a bill that it almost certainly will not become law, and you're allowing that to happen.
Well, first of all, as long as the government shut down, the clear statement from Senator Thune and the Republican majority, and they control the Senate, the House, the White House, was we will not talk about health care with you. So there was no vote that we were going to get on the Affordable Care Act, premium tax credits. We have a guaranteed vote by a guaranteed date on a bill that we will write. Not that the Republicans will write, although I do think it's important for us to engage with them because we need a bipartisan bill that we know is going to get enacted to provide the relief that Americans need. And I think there's a commitment on the part of many of our colleagues to do that.
But there's no guarantee this will become law.
There was never a guarantee that it would become law.
Well, just to follow up on that, Senator, because
There was never a guarantee that it would become law. Yes, it's important to work bipartisan, but why work with a group that will never, ever, and you know their track record. That's the thing. They know their track record. And they act like, oh, well, maybe this time they're going to change. Maybe that's and that's why, look, there's moments where I hear and agree with John Fetterman, right? Bipartisan is the way to go because, hey, look, I'm independent. I'm against the two-party system. I believe that no one party should have full control of anything. I don't think the world will be a better place with only Democratic values. I don't think the world will be better with only Republican values. I think you have to literally mix it up like a gumbo and then make it work from there. This is Dean Abdallah, Sirius XM host off of, I believe he's on Sirius XM Progress. Here's what he had to say about Chuck Schumer on recently on MSNBC after this recent hearing.
Nancy Pelosi never would have happened if she was leading in the House like this. And to me, this idea of left or right or more progressive on ACA subsidies, almost 80% of Americans want the subsidies to continue. That's not left or right. That's right and wrong. Almost 60% of Republicans want the ACA subsidies to continue. Chuck Schumer should have negotiated a better deal. He should have been in the public more. He's not a bad guy, any stretch. He's just not the right person at the right time. We're going through a different time. You're dealing with a GOP that's an anti-democratic movement. They don't care what the American people think on an issue like this. So I think, honestly, this is the end of Chuck Schumer as we go forward.
I don't disagree. I think he's absolutely right. Chuck has not delivered at all. He's never came out with big wins either. Look, my friends, we are going to take a quick breather here. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. Do not go anywhere. We got a lot more for you here on the Arrington Gavin Show.
You know, just like a winning team evolves throughout the season, so does your beard. I'm Arrington Gavin, proud CEO of Rugged Evolution Beard Care. With our premium oils, balms, and grooming tools, it's everything you need to level up your beard game. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a rookie, Rugged Evolution is the new smooth. Order now and dominate the beard game like never before. Rugged Evolution Beard Care, because every beard deserves to be legendary.
Jazeera Learning Institute, LLC, is a hybrid learning center that strives to educate adults and children in all fields. During the day, we offer programs that are focused on developing students from pre-K to 12th grade, which includes tutoring, homeschool co-op, an after-school program, SAT, ACT prep, and many more engaging academic programs. Our adult education programs include workforce trainings, GED prep, life coaching, various seminars, and many more. Our vision is to train and educate in a positive way that will lead to a positive change in the world, one person at a time. For more information, visit us online at JazarenLearningInstitute.com or call us at 757-208-7407.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the show. Welcome back. I'm looking at my time here. I'm going to continue to talk more about the, the 8 Democrats that cave and just where that puts the overall Democratic Party. Where does that put the American people at? I mean, I think you can all honestly make the assumption where that puts the American people at. But I wanted to discuss a new conversation here. Former Vice President Kamala Harris says that the Democratic Party has taken Black women for granted. Strong words there. It was reported by the Grio, and it shares that former Vice President Kamala Harris called out her own party for failing to prioritize Black women. There's a lot of weight that comes with being the first to do something, and when you're Black and a woman, that weighs exponentially heavier. Now, Kamala Harris, who is no longer to the weight and scrutiny that comes with being the first Black woman to not only become vice president of the United States, but also to make it through the primaries and have her name on the ballot, has been confronting the reality with candor since the release of her new book, 107 Days. Now, the 107 days, which stands for the amount of days she had to basically win a presidential race. She only had 107 days to run a campaign to try and become the next president of the United States. Something that nobody in America has done. Okay? No one in America has done. She was recently on Storehouse and Friends, a conversation series curated by entrepreneur and publisher Tamara Chapman, featuring the Lip Bar's founder, Melissa Butler, and communication strategist Kiara Nixon. Harris addressed the tension many Black women faced when working towards a goal in society that tries to trivialize their identities. I quote, she says, "Often I feel like Black women have this tension between, who they are and the mission that they are trying to accomplish. I want to know if you faced any of that tension when you were on your mission, especially considering that your mission was race agnostic and gender agnostic. You were trying to do the work that the country needed." Butler asked, "Did you find that you face tension of that sort?" To which the former VP responds by saying, "I think the Democratic Party has taken Black women for granted." Now, if I look back, I want to before I read forward, I wonder if the majority would say, yeah, they're right on that, because the Democratic Party is always, encourage diversity, right? I see a lot of women elected officials. I see a lot of now. There's been Black women that served in office for a minute. I mean, you have Maxine Waters, you had Cori Bush, you have oh Lord, the late great Sheila Jackson. You have there's I'm their faces. I'm looking at their seeing their face, but I'm just not Congresswoman out of DC. I believe there was another Congresswoman out of Texas. Well, Jasmine Crockett, duh. But there was another Congresswoman I was also blanking. But you have a number of people, of color that's been in office. So, but let me continue to read this. She says there are very specific issues that impact Black women in America that should be some of the highest priorities. I made them priorities when I was vice president, such as Black maternal morality. And during her historic 107-day presidential campaign, Harris said that she knew one of the many high stakes questions was whether the country would pay attention to the needs surrounding women's health issues like postpartum, fibroids, maternal health care, and more. Now, I know healthcare is a big deal. Everybody was speaking about money, this, money, that. Yes, she spoke a lot about abortion rights, right? Reproductive rights. She spoke a lot about reproductive rights. But I think a lot of strategists will tell you, to the majority, that wasn't what a lot of folks were focused on. It was an important issue, an important topic during the race, but was it the winning one, right? Was it the winning one? Throughout the 2024 presidential race, Harris was a subject to waves of criticism ranging from her political policies to her dating history. And I remember that they were bringing up Montel. She used to date the former mayor of San Fran. I mean, they were going in on her background, which it's unfair, yes, and I will probably get my foot in my mouth, but I'm like, they kind of do it for all politicians. I already know I'm about to see some heat because I could already see the sister saying, oh no, but they did it harder on her. Listen, and they probably did. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I've seen every candidate, get the same exact, receive the same exact criticism, backlash, or I mean, not backlash, but like history, kind of going back on their history and saying, wait, remember such and such did this, remember such and such. I mean, when you're in the public eye, they're gonna try and find some dirt because they're trying to win races. They're trying to convince people why you should not vote for this person. So, now it says here, despite the election outcome, Harris has emphasized that there's still much more work to be done, encouraging everybody to counteract the current attempts to divide the nation further. What's your take on this, y'all? To my listeners listening right now, do you think Kamala Harris has a point there, and that the Democratic Party does not take Black women for granted? I think the Democratic Party as a whole doesn't take a lot of things for granted. They don't take winning strategies. Okay, they listen to whoever's paying them. Okay, they don't listen to Black women. They don't listen to young people. They don't listen to anti-establishment elected officials. They listen to whatever makes them their pockets fat. Okay, that's all they're doing. And I mean, hey, look, Kamala is not in politics right now, so she's continuing to speak her mind. And I actually had a conversation with some family the other day, thinking, asking them, do you think Kamala's done with politics? They think she's running for president again. I'm like, good luck with that. I don't think she is. I personally don't think she is, especially having a tell-all book like this. I think she's done with politics. There could be a moment for her that she wants to pursue higher office in the state of California, or she could be waiting for the phone call and want to serve under someone's administration. That's right. I said it here. I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all, as always, so much for sticking with us here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Be sure to tune in weeknight, available on all digital and streaming platforms, as well as on the radio airwaves. Do me a favor, follow us on our social media platforms as well. All social media platforms, and peace and blessings. I'll see you next.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold. stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.